Welcome back. If you were born between the early 1980s and 2000, you are known as a millennial, a group often referred to as the next generation. And for many millennials, the start of each new year is synonymous with setting ambitious resolutions, right? But following through can prove to be a challenge. Well, just in time for the start of 2016, we have Chelsea Cross, a well-known millennial expert and guest TV host, here to share some timely information about how millennials can stay on track with their New Year's resolutions. Good morning, Chelsea.
Good morning.
So I love talking with you in this idea of why millennials are so special and unique. Let's start there. What do you think makes this particular age group stand out?
Oh, I love this question. You know, millennials are truly a generation unlike any before. Reason being because we're growing up with things that didn't exist back in the day, right? We're the first generation to grow up with the internet. We're the first generation to grow up with social media. We're the first generation to grow up with our smartphones, which are literally everything we could possibly need that could fit into our pocket. So of course this is going to have an influence and shape the mindset and influences of this generation, making us unique and different.
Yeah, so how does that in turn change then how we make these New Year's resolutions? How many millennials, you know, or how they make them? Do they do anything differently when they're looking at themselves and trying to figure out what they want to do to improve, whether it's, you know, professionally or personally? How does that factor
I think,
in?
You know, when thinking about the new year, it's always about, you know, what's a clean slate. Let's start fresh. Let's create intentions and set resolutions so that this could be our next best year yet. And I do think that millennials are thinking of how tech or resources or applications can help fulfill those resolutions. So, you know, what's top of mind for millennials this year, 2016, is to become more financially fit. According to a 2015 AFLAC Workforces report, millennials are the least likely generation to have $1,000 to pay for an unexpected cost or out-of-pocket cost. So if an emergency were to arise, that would really leave millennials in a vulnerable situation.
So what do they do? Any advice to share for them?
Absolutely, and this is where, you know, the tech savviness definitely comes in for millennials. But the first and foremost is creating a budget is so essential, and also creating a budget and sticking to it, because that's the only way that we're actually going to see that savings account go up and up and up. So, talking tech, thinking millennial, one of my favorite resources is called Mint, M-I-N-T. It's an application that we could download on our smart devices, and you could plug in accordingly. It doesn't matter what financial circumstance you're in. You can create a budget and a savings plan for you, and it also provides notifications if you tend to deviate from that savings plan. So, you know, of course, going into the new year, we're all hoping for the best, but we do have to plan for the worst. And that's where that's where really educating ourselves on what our health insurance plan provides is so important. You know, health insurance doesn't cover all medical costs. And being that millennials are 18 to 35, sometimes we do think that we're invincible, or don't think, I'm going to get sick, or, oh, no, I don't get into a car accident. Well, you just don't know. So it's so important to know what is covered and what's not covered in that health insurance policy so that you could best be prepared for any worst-case scenario that may or may not happen down the road. And there are other resources that millennials could utilize to avoid those gap costs, right? Because the health insurance is creating more financial responsibility on the policyholder. So there are resources that you could take advantage of, like voluntary insurance. Voluntary insurance literally provides cash into the hands of the policyholder so that they can help pay for those gap costs, like a copay or a deductible, or just life payments like rent and groceries and bills. So although it might seem overwhelming, create a budget, saving, understanding my health insurance plan, there are resources and tools to help you do it, and there are resources to help you afford it. You just have to take the time to do the homework and do the research.
Yeah, tell those millennials to slow down, take the time to do this for yourself. Awesome.
Yeah. Yes,
well,
absolutely.
As we close, is there a website you want to send us to before we let you go?
For more information, just visit aflac.com.
Okay, thank you so much. You have a great year. We, of course, will put more info on our website, foxformorningblend.com.
And coming up next, school just got more cool. Up next, how parents can be choosy when it comes to school choice.